Libra, before anything else, I want you to pause with me for a second. Not because something shocking is about to come out, but because this reading only makes sense if you're honest with yourself instead of polite with your situation. Hi, love, it's Aira. And the first thing I want you to know is this: you haven't been confused. You've been accommodating for too long. There's a difference. Confusion feels scattered. What you've been feeling is heavy, quiet pressure from constantly trying to keep things balanced when they already aren't. You've been telling yourself that if you wait a little longer, understand a little more, or explain yourself one more time, things will naturally shift. But what's really happening is that you're carrying responsibility that doesn't fully belong to you anymore. This reading isn't here to push you into action. It's here to show you why clarity hasn't arrived yet, and what finally causes it to click. Not emotionally, practically. So stay with me. Don't rush the message. Let the cards speak the way real life actually unfolds. As I open the spread for you, the first card that comes forward is Justice, and that's not surprising for Libra. But this justice isn't about fairness between people. It's about honesty with yourself. You've been weighing options carefully, maybe too carefully. You're trying to make a decision that feels fair to everyone involved, but you're quietly leaving yourself out of the equation. This card shows me that the loop you're in continues because you keep negotiating with reality instead of naming it. What's important here is this: you already know what's uneven. You don't need more information. You need permission, and that permission has to come from you. January energy especially presses on this, because delays start costing more than decisions. Justice also asks something very practical. If nothing changes in the next few months, will you respect yourself for staying? Not because it's wrong, but because it's honest. That question is where your clarity starts forming. The next card that steps in is the Two of Pentacles, and this explains your daily exhaustion. You're juggling too many emotional roles at once, being understanding, being patient, being supportive, being calm. And somewhere in all that, you stopped being clear. This isn't about being overwhelmed, it's about being overextended. You're constantly adjusting yourself to keep everything running smoothly. And yes, you're good at it, but just because you can doesn't mean you should keep doing it. What keeps repeating is the pattern of, "I'll handle it." And that pattern only breaks when you decide that not everything needs your effort to survive. Some things need your absence to reveal their truth. This card also shows that once you stop juggling, something drops. And that's not a failure. That's information. It tells you what was never stable on its own. The third card is the Page of Swords, and this is where the mental loop lives. You've been thinking, replaying, analyzing conversations, wondering if you said too much or not enough. There's curiosity here, but also restlessness. You're waiting for a sign, a message, a shift in tone, something external to confirm what you already sense internally. And the reason it hasn't come yet is because clarity isn't meant to arrive through words this time. This card suggests that the next breakthrough happens when you stop asking questions and start observing patterns. Who shows up consistently? Who only engages when it suits them? Who listens versus who deflects? Once you see that clearly, the mental noise settles. Not because answers come, but because you stop chasing them. The fourth card anchoring this half of the reading is the Hermit, and this is a turning point. This isn't loneliness, this is selective presence. You're entering a phase where you pull your energy back, not dramatically, not coldly, but intentionally. You stop explaining, you stop over-updating, you stop adjusting your truth to keep peace. And in that space, something very important happens. You hear yourself again. Decisions become quieter but firmer. You don't need reassurance. You need alignment. This card tells me that once you choose internal clarity over external harmony, the situation begins to respond differently. Not immediately, but noticeably. If you want a deeper personal look at how this theme unfolds for you through 2026, including relationships, finances, and long-term direction, I'm offering a detailed 2026 forecast reading for $155. All right, let's continue. As we move forward, the next card that comes in is the Knight of Pentacles. And this card changes the pace of the reading in a very grounded way. This isn't fast movement. This is steady, deliberate progress. The kind that doesn't look exciting at first, but actually lasts. For you, Libra, this shows that once you stop reacting and start choosing consistency, things begin to stabilize. You may notice that your days feel quieter, fewer emotional spikes, less second-guessing. That's not boredom, that's relief. You're no longer constantly adjusting yourself to match someone else's rhythm. This card also tells me that the situation you've been waiting on doesn't resolve through confrontation. It resolves through consistency. You keep doing what's aligned for you, even when no one applauds it. And over time, the truth of the situation reveals itself without you having to push. There's also a message here about self-trust. You don't need to rush your decision. You just need to stop abandoning it halfway through. When you stay steady, the path becomes obvious. The next card is the Five of Cups, and I want to talk about this honestly. This card doesn't mean regret over choosing wrong. It means grieving what you hoped something would become. There's disappointment here, yes, but it's quiet, not dramatic. It's the realization that something didn't meet you where you were willing to go. And that's hard for you, because you tend to see potential and give it time to grow. What this card shows is that once you allow yourself to feel that disappointment without trying to fix it, you free up a lot of energy. You stop reliving the what if, you stop protecting the past, and you start noticing what's still standing. This card also reminds you that not everything you lose was meant to stay. Some things only exist to teach you where your limits are. The seventh card that comes forward is the Queen of Swords, and this is you after clarity settles in. Calm, clear, direct, but not harsh. You stop over-explaining. You stop softening your truth to keep others comfortable. You speak less, but when you do, it's precise, and people feel that shift immediately. What's powerful here is that you don't need emotional distance to protect yourself anymore. You need boundaries. And boundaries don't require justification. They require consistency. This card also shows respect returning to you, from others, but more importantly, from yourself. You begin trusting your judgment again. And once that happens, indecision no longer runs the show. If this reading is resonating so far, take a moment to like the video. It really helps this message reach the people who need it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love to have you here. These readings are meant to support real decisions, not just moments of comfort. Now, the final card that anchors this reading is the Star. And this isn't about hope in the distant future. This is about relief returning sooner than you expect. The Star appears when you stop forcing outcomes and start aligning with yourself again. It tells me that once you choose clarity over accommodation, your nervous system settles. You sleep better. You feel lighter. You stop bracing for disappointment. What's beautiful about this card is that it doesn't promise perfection. It promises peace. The kind that comes when you're no longer betraying your own needs to keep things smooth. This is the moment where you realize you're not behind. You're not broken. You were just trying to carry balance alone. And now you don't have to. Before we close, I want to leave you with this affirmation. You can repeat it quietly or just let it land. I choose clarity over confusion. I trust myself to see what is real. What aligns with me stays. What doesn't, fades naturally.